Hey everyone, I actually wasn't planning to make another video on Atheism Plus, but then I saw Noel Plum's video yesterday, which was very good, another great video from Noel Plum. I'll link it in the below bar along with any other relevant links that I talk about in this video. But he just pulled me back in, you know. I got a few great ideas, and I'm going to put this as a reply because that's the best place for it, I think. So anyway, in regards to the comments that Noel Plum received from people over at Free Thought Blogs, it really does speak to their arrogance that they are completely vicious and demeaning to any dissenting opinion. It seems to me that they've come to this movement not to learn anything. No, they've already done that, but to advance what they already know. Now that's completely fine, but this vitriol against anyone that dares speak out against Atheism Plus is quite frankly shocking. No one should be above learning and keeping an open mind, which is what I thought the people at Atheism Plus would be for. But I guess an open mind for them is an open mind that is a mind that is only open to arguments from their side. Another thing that I've looked at their forum, and one of the things I don't like on there is that they seem to use words that can mean different things to different people, terms and words that can be rather, I don't want to say vague, but as I said, can mean different things to different people, and then using them in a very specific way. Well, what's wrong with that, you may ask? My problem with that is when it is posted on the Atheism Plus forum under education. I'll give you an example. There is a thread on the education forum which is called Introduction to Privilege, and it has this line in it which I'll quote. It says, I feel like the concept of privilege is a huge stumbling block for a lot of people when it comes to understanding social justice. Excuse me? When did privilege become so intertwined with social justice? When did understanding social justice include having to understand privilege? And how are you defining privilege? And you know, another thing, how are you defining social justice? Another example, there is a thread called "Why is libertarianism not compatible with social justice?" So apparently, if you're a libertarian, you don't care about things like income inequality and human rights, according to the geniuses over at the A+ forums. You know, leaving aside the fact whether you agree with libertarianism or not. Apparently it doesn't matter if you're a libertarian and care about social justice. Obviously these people know better. If you are a libertarian, then you better go somewhere else, because you can forget about joining Atheism Plus. Obviously there's no room for you there. This is what I mean. This is not education, this is opinion. There's no evidence here, no studies, no no actual hard data. It's just how the members feel about certain issues and how some interconnect in their opinion and some don't. This is what I have a problem with, trying to pass off what people believe as fact. It's like Noel Plum says, it is like a cult. How else am I supposed to see an education forum that's heavy on opinion and, as I said, light on real hard data? An education forum that is more about explaining the specific meanings of terms members are supposed to adhere to, rather than, or I don't know, educating people. If this is the way the people over at the Atheism Plus forums want to go, then that's fine. This is their movement. I'm not going to join, and they can do whatever they want with it. Just don't try to masquerade what is true for you as something that is true for everyone. It really does seem like, as time has gone on over at Atheism Plus, and as the movement has gained steam and has evolved a little bit, it's turned into a movement that is almost exclusively for women's issues. Again, this is completely fine, but then don't try to dress up what you're trying to do as some kind of movement for everyone. I mean, I wonder how someone would get on if they tried to explain on the forums how men are usually on the negative end in regards to custody battles. I think that would be rather quite fun and interesting to see. The last thing I want to talk about is this thread entitled "Effects of Not Having Privilege." Now, I know Noel Plum talked about this as well, and I think Cardinal Virtues talked about it in his sort of gripes with politics video that he did yesterday. But honestly, I cannot remember the last time I saw such a big pity party. it reminds me of when I used to go on forums when I was looking for help with mine. This was when I was like really in the throes of it. It's not as bad now, but you know, back then it was really quite bad. And I used to go on the forums, and people were talking about how bad, you know, their particular depression was, and then you would have other people talking about how bad theirs was, and you know, maybe theirs would be worse in certain aspects, and it just seemed like they wanted to try and one up each other. It's like a contest. It reminds me also of the Monty Python sketch where two people are in a pub and they're trying to one up each other in regards to how tough of a childhood they had. Again, what No Plum said is right. There are people in every group that just perpetually want to play the victim. Now, a lot of people won't like this, but it's not something I've heard before, so I'd like to think I'm being a little original here, if you know, I'd like to toot my own horn. But again, some people aren't going to like this because I'm going to equate this particular idea of privilege with religion. But it really is apt, I think. When I hear people talking about privilege, it does seem to me like the secular version of original sin, where unless you are a supreme, unachievable, perfect being devoid of any flaws, you are bound and maybe even deserve to suffer. You know, if you are not this pinnacle of humankind, then woe betide you, because you are going to have a shit life. It's not too hard to see the similarities when you can see segments of the religious and secular communities talk about these two things and complain about how persecuted they are and how much the world hates them. There are people that will always want to feel like they are the downtrodden, like life has befallen them and they must tell everyone about how they are being persecuted against. And these two ideas give people the perfect opportunity whether you are religious or not. And it also works on the level of being subjugated because of the mistakes of past generations, where we have to pay for the errors that our relatives in a bygone era made. Really, bravo to whoever came up with this idea, because it seems perfect for people who have left religion but maybe still have a soft spot for feeling like the world is against them. So that's my little foray again into atheism plus. I'm sure I've pissed off quite a lot of people, but then the people that are probably angry with me probably didn't like me because of my previous atheism plus video anyway. But I'm sure there's quite a lot to talk about. Feel free to leave your comments and stuff below, even if you hate what I say, because I really couldn't give a shit. I mean, I'll read them, but I just don't really care whether you insult me or not. So until next time, everyone, hope you have a nice day, and cheerio.